Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another episode of Ummah in Exile. Today we were kind of putting our minds to work, seeing what kind of topic we were going to come up with. I mean, we've had a series of really interesting discussions. We have our brother Andrew back here with us today. And we kind of landed on something that I think is going to be really interesting to talk. And that's the idea of the patterns of civilization, how they rise and fall, and the role of believers and the warnings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? How do believers act in this dunya and in the civilizations that they are living in? How does a Muslim operate? What is their mindset? How does humanity operate? Why do these civilizations have that pattern, right? Personally, yesterday I was reading Surah Al-Qamar. And in Surah Al-Qamar, there's a very interesting theme that pops up. Two themes, actually. The first one is the mention of 4 civilizations that are destroyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their arrogance. You have the civilization of Noah, Ad, Thamud, and the civilization of, forgetting the last one. I don't believe it was Fir'aun in Surah Al-Qamar. It's Ad, Thamud.
Is it Babylon one of them?
Nuh. I'm forgetting the last one. But regardless, there is 4 civilizations that Allah mentions.
Oh. Okay.
Right? In that chapter of the Qur'an specifically.
Okay.
And he says, essentially, the ayah is, I'm paraphrasing here, that this civilization, forgot, basically, or disobeyed, or rebelled, right? And they fell, they were destroyed. And immediately following that, usually the ayah that comes right after, I'm going to pull this up, is this ayah. And it's repeated 4 times. And it says, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِّرٍ. Sorry. And we have certainly made the Qur'an easy to remember. So is there anybody who will be mindful? Now, when I read the Qur'an, as a lot of us do, I'm assuming, a lot of times we kind of like get mindless, similar to Salah, right? It's almost like a ritualistic thing. And that has khair in and of itself. Obviously, I'm not saying it's better to read than not read at all. But sometimes, I don't know if you guys have had this experience, the Qur'an reads me. Like the verses pop out and they just shatter my heart. Like they break my heart in half. I don't know if you guys have had like similar experiences with the Qur'an in the past.
You can show something to someone, and there's 3 different levels of intelligence that you're showing it to, and each person would perceive it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Perceive it. So one person might not perceive it as the other way someone would perceive it. It might not even be intelligence, just the way you understand things.
Right.
I think like perception is reality, kind of like what Andrew is going off of. But subhanAllah, I find myself some days when I'm feeling a little off, I will randomly open up the Qur'an to like a random page, not knowing what surah it is, not knowing which ayah I'm going to read, and I'll just like read it. And every time I've done that, the ayah that I've read speaks to me in that exact moment. And so subhanAllah, when you mentioned this idea of like fallen civilizations and how the mirroring ayah, or the ayah that comes following just after the reminding to us humans, who, by the way, we are so quick to forget.
Yes, we are
as human
insan.
beings.
Like the definition is kind of forgetfulness.
Exactly.
I'm looking the surah up by the way.
No, please, It's good for you to do this. I think that whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions any type of punishment, it's typically followed with, "Oh, Allah is forgiving, come back to me. With open arms, I will accept you."
Yes.
And we even see that in the hadith as well.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this is definitely an authentic hadith, where if you were to extend one hand to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He would extend an entire arm's length reaching towards you. This could be after a person could be forgetful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 70 years of his life, and his qadr was written that his last words would be La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, no matter where he is. Allahu alam, we don't know, and inshallah we will die with La ilaha illallah on our tongues, Muhammad Rasulullah. But I think that it's really important these parallels are discussed, because I think that Allah wants mercy for us.
Yes.
At the end of the day, one of his names is Ar-Rahman.
Yes.
Another one of his names is Al-Ghafur.
Right.
So why did Allah, and I actually want you to talk about it, because you're the one who read this particular surah last night, and you, just like how you said, this is very beautiful, you said it read you didn't read it, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that when you read this particular surah about the destruction of the civilization, seeing what we're going through in the modern time, did you say to yourself, oh man, this is such a beautiful reminder, I want to go, please.
So I'm going to read the ayah that Allah opens up, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the destruction of civilizations. It's in the case of Ad, the nation of Ad. He says, كَذَّبَتْ عَادٌ فَكَيْفَ كَانَ عَذَابِي وَنُذُرِ. Ad rejected the truth, or rejected, simply. Then how dreadful were my punishment and warnings. So first, there's a couple things here. Number one, Allah does not punish without warning. Allah does not punish without extending the rope of mercy as much as possible. But upon constant rejections of that rope of mercy, then there is no other way out for civilizations but to reset.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions in the Qur'an that we did not punish them, they destroyed themselves. He says, we did not destroy them, they destroyed themselves. He says, we did not wrong them, they wronged themselves. This idea of self-accountability of the human, that you cannot blame God for that. Especially when He extends you the rope. Look at our current civilizations. Look at the type of fahisha. Look at the type of corruption and degeneracy and oppression that is spread throughout the earth right now. There's another ayah that says, if my punishment were to come upon them for what they do, it would be severe and immediate. Right? But it is only through Allah's mercy that we are still here. We don't deserve that mercy, but He extends it to us regardless. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then follows a series of ayat and says, we have made the Qur'an easy to remember, so is there anybody who will be mindful? The Qur'an wasn't revealed in Ad's time. The Qur'an wasn't revealed in Thamud's time. The Qur'an was not revealed in Noah's time. Alayhimus salam. May Allah give peace and blessings to all of them. The prophets, obviously not Ad and Thamud.
No,
But
I understand.
But it was revealed in our time. We have the Qur'an. So this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to us. It's sort of a way of predictive programming, right? For the people who are living in such civilizations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we have made the Qur'an easy to remember, to access, to read. And the Qur'an is truth itself. It's the standard. One of the words for it is Al-Furqan, the standard, right? So Allah is saying, I have made truth easy. I have made truth accessible. I have made truth ready available. But where are the mindful? This is what shook me.
What do you mean mindful?
Mindful. Where are those who listen to it?
Conscious of the message.
Where are those who internalize the message, who are aware of it? Where are those who are operating with an aware and awakened mindset in this world and not just heedlessly going about? Because these past civilizations all had warners and messengers, and all of them were powerful in some capacity, and they were all destroyed, even though they would say it's not going to happen to us. How many people, when you talk about the end of civilizations, when you say, look, I mean, every empire has a rise and fall. The United States has a rise, a peak, and it will likely have a fall. How many of them say, no, it will never happen to America? Look at our military. It's all over the world. Look at our power. We project soft power and hard power everywhere. Where are the mindful? How many people in this nation and this civilization are truly living through the message of truth? That's the predictive programming. That something might be coming our way sometime soon, actually. And we may not be ready for it. Like those before us were not ready for it.
I think, for me personally, I like to say that all of these examples of civilizations that have fallen before us, what do you notice about all of them? They weren't just powerful, but what made them powerful? It's the same exact thing that makes the United States powerful and all these great superpowers that we have in the modern time. And that's technology.
Right.
So many people are still confused as to how they say aliens built the pyramids, right? Okay, no, they didn't. Okay, but all these great civilizations had such wonderful technology, right? Lasted for centuries.
Yeah.
Far longer than any of us will ever last, right? And given all this technology, given all the power that they have, given all the fruit of their labor, in the end, they were humbled. Why? Because they themselves cannot humble themselves. In front of who? Their creator. Mm-hmm. You see, the issue with human nature, I believe, is that we are a type of being that so desperately needs something tangible in front of us. We need to feel it. I need to see it. I need to hear it in order to believe it. And that's why religion, especially in this technological day and age where everything is it's literally in the palm of our hands, right? Everything is so accessible. It's essentially pulling people away from religion.
Yeah.
Because their God has now become AI, astaghfirullah, or some form of technology that they worship on a daily. And dude, even I find myself, subhanAllah, waking up and immediately I check my phone, right? I turn off my alarm clock or something like that. But it's this idea that, I cannot see this, or Islam happened so long ago that it's so far disconnected from us. Thus we should not live it anymore. This is the mindset of a broken people. And I believe that it's the mindset of the individuals that we have in today's society. And I think it's also the same mindset that Ad, Thamud, and all of these people had, which is straight up heresy. Mm-hmm. To deny the signs of Allah.
Right.
Let's just step away from the Qur'an, which in and of itself is a miracle, because I know that you had a discussion with some people, or you read a discussion about how Islam doesn't have miracles. The Qur'an is in of itself is the best miracle for us.
Right.
Okay, but let's take a step away from Islam then. Are the mountains not a miracle to you? Are the trees that provide us with oxygen and recycle the CO2 that we breathe out not a miracle to us? Are the roads that we ourselves have paved through our knowledge, passed down from generation to generation, not proof enough for you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that a greater existence does in fact exist out there?
Yeah.
I think that people they just want to deny what they just so badly know is the truth. And unfortunately, I think that this is the state that we find ourselves in. And it's really scary, man. I don't want to be punished.
No.
And as a Muslim, of course, every day is a struggle for us to live a better life. But, man, do the punishments of technically these people before us not cause fear in all of us?
They should shake your heart.
They 100% should.
Any comments, Andrew?
It's deep. I know.
All right, let's. I'll say this. Main focus is civilization collapse. Correct?
Sure.
Civilization collapse. I'd say civilization collapses every 10,000 years right now. Possibly around then. I mean, if you even...
Well, you're talking on a grand scale civilizational collapse.
Because
I agree with you. There's degrees to it, right?
So
but
Yeah, like, okay, you could have maybe like nation collapse.
Right.
You're always going to be able to recover. I'm talking about like an actual collapse where,
Like you're talking about a reset.
yeah, we're talking about like a reset.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, civilization collapse. I say civilization, you collapse when, truly, it's when you start playing with things that you might not understand what you're doing with. So, I'd say once you start building atomic bombs, you're very close to a civilization collapse.
Right.
When you start building machines that think, then you're even closer to civilizational collapse. So,
By the way,
recipe for disaster: machines that think and nuclear weapons go very well together. So, also,
Skynet.
also humans are naturally parasites. So whatever a human will, like, humans are always going to find a way to like harm something, or humans are always going to find a way to hurt something, possibly. So, I mean, that just feeds into nation collapse because the humans fall on themselves.
Can I?
Go ahead.
I'm going to stop you right there
Go ahead,
because you just gave, like, essentially proof of the ayah, of the explanation that Allah gives in the Quran, where He says, "We did not wrong them; they wronged themselves."
Yes, it's
The humans create the dough that will bake into the bread of civilizational collapse entirely by themselves. This is the recipe and the pattern of self-destruction. But it ultimately comes, why? To go back to the ayah, because we are not mindful. So you mentioned technology. You mentioned technology right now. Everybody and their mother, if you talk to them outside, will mention technology. What is technology but material supremacy? Focusing on the dunya, focusing on the prison, right? Heedlessness of what is beyond, heedlessness of what is to come, heedlessness of the patterns that humanity goes through every so often. That is ultimately what leads into a cycle of perpetual collapse, because humans forget their purpose.
People usually identify their purpose with their work.
Right.
People usually identify their purpose with the materials they have. So, okay. I'm going to speak about AI. That's what I know. If your purpose is taken away from you, like, what's the point? Truly, what's the point if your purpose is taken away from you? At the end of every civilization, the purpose of an entity, when it's stripped away from them, not so long after, something might collapse. Because if everything is automated and there's no point for humans, like I said, nuclear explosion or some kind of AI takeover, the collapse.
It could be very real, but you know how to, like, the question that we talked a little bit in the AI episode about, question, how do humans get here all the time? You know,
It's human.
like, you'd think, well, you and I were talking today, we were saying history is so powerful, you can learn a lot from it, right? It's filled with lessons, yet we keep making the same mistakes.
It's just what humans do.
Why?
It's just what we do.
Why?
Humans don't. I mean, truly, we have learned from some of our mistakes, but the biggest mistake is
Self-gratification, self-worship. I'm serious. I think that's the biggest mistake.
self-worship.
Because in the pursuit of fulfilling the desire of the self, Shaitan operates in scales. The first scale that he'll operate is the individual level. That's your qareen, your individual Satan, is that scale.
Yeah.
Right? Then there are the elite of the shayateen, the ones who operate on a societal scale. These are the shayateen who counsel with the elites, the ones who are assigned to politicians, to decision makers. Then there is the civilizational scale, aka Project Dajjal, right? This idea, but what does the whisper of Shaitan thrive on primarily? It is self-worship. Do this for the betterment of your condition. Do this so you can have more. Do this so you can live better, right? But all that self-betterment and self-improvement and whatever is confined within the material dunya realm, and it detaches you from the grander spiritual purpose. And that's very dangerous. And I think right there is why humans keep making the same mistake. That is the one history, the one lesson from history that Allah wants us to learn, and that it's the one lesson in history that we fail to keep learning. We've learned how to build nuclear bombs and AI. We've learned how to look at technology and develop that technology, but we haven't learned how to stop worshiping ourselves.
So, okay. Let's say that. So you think when we start worshiping ourselves, things are going to start collapsing?
They do.
And when we stop doing things for God, things start to go well.
Well, I mean, materially they might not necessarily go well, but internally they do, in my opinion. And even materially, I think they manifest. Look, I'll give you examples. Some of the greatest civilizations that have been built upon the idea of God. Like the Islamic civilization is all inspired from the Qur'an, right? The Qur'an was the basis for the golden age of Islam, the advancements in science and medicine and everything else. Christianity, right? Even though with all its flaws and whatnot, built very strong civilizations too. I believe the original Hindu civilizations, based in the original script, which I think came from prophets and then later deviated, also succeed. So the basis for civilization is divine law.
So yeah, I'm going to tell a story because it's going to feed right into this. I'm going to tell the story of Constantine and how he understood that by implementing a religion into a society gives everyone a light inside of them that gives them a greater purpose. When your civilization is about 1,000 years old, purpose is typically sucked out of all the humans and they start trying to go chase material things. But if you can give them some kind of divine purpose, it's much easier to send your soldiers on the battlefield to give them a divine purpose than giving them some kind of car or giving them some kind of weapon. So
what did Constantine do?
Let me tell the story of Constantine. So Constantine was a Roman emperor of Constantinople, the Eastern Roman Empire.
Actually, it hadn't split yet at that point.
It was just his base. It was his base of operations.
So he ruled over a united Roman Empire.
Okay, then yeah. So he just ruled in the east. Rome wasn't being ruled in the west, where Rome was actually at. Constantine, at the time, the empire was maybe like 1,000 years old?
Yeah, about
1,000 years old. That's American civilization has only existed for about 270 years?
250.
250 years?
Yeah.
That empire was 1,000 years old. 1,000 years old. That's a long time for just a big logistics company to operate. It starts to get to the point where all your soldiers are fighting for money and then they go spend it on a brothel the next week. All the workers are just going to get a paycheck. Nobody has any kind of divine presence in them. Nobody's spiritual. Everybody's very materialistic.
Sounds a lot like something else.
Yeah. Exactly. He understood if you want to reignite the flame in your civilization, you have to give them a faith. You have to give them a purpose greater. You have to give them God. You have to give them something that they can't see but they know is there. So he tried this 8 times. I'm not going to say what his 8th time was, but I'll say his 7th time, he tried to implement the Roman god Mars into the civilization. He put it on all the soldiers' shields. He made it the official state religion. He tried to get people to practice it. He propagated it. He pushed it out. The 6th time he did it with the Greek god Dionysus, the wine god. Same method. Try to put on all the shields, send your soldiers into countries, take them over in the name of Dionysus, in the name of Mars, and it didn't work. The 8th time he put in a religion, it was Christianity. For some reason, Christianity worked and it boomed. Everyone got into it. At this time, it was mainly popular by the commoners. So a lot of slaves were into Christianity, females were into Christianity. You had a lot of your lower part of the civilization was into Christianity. And now with Constantine putting himself into Christianity, now you have the soldiers that follow Constantine converting to Christianity. You have the higher class converting into Christianity. So now your entire civilization's into Christianity. He makes it the official state religion. So instead of now killing Christians and prosecuting them, It's now being actively pushed onto everyone. This works because obviously it gave them faith to fight on the battlefield. But he understood that it gave you a divine presence because now you're chosen by God.
I'm going to expand upon this.
Go ahead.
Mars is a god, technically.
Yes.
Dionysus is a god, technically.
Yes.
But why did those two fail? And Christianity, it wasn't the Christianity we have nowadays, by the way.
Completely different.
Right?
No Trinity.
Yeah.
No Trinity.
It's actually kind of a very monotheistic form of Christianity.
Underdeveloped.
Believing that one God, and there was schisms within Christian thought. A lot of Christians at that time actually believed in Jesus as a simple prophet, alayhi salam, not divine in any way. Mm-hmm. Constantine was the one who instituted the Council of Nicaea,
yes.
which then later came up with the Trinity.
Yes.
But when he converted, that was not the mainstream Christian thought. So I just want to emphasize that for the sake of our viewers not getting confused that Trinitarian Christianity gave civilizational success. It didn't. What gave civilizational success was the divinity that Christianity provided.
He associated with it.
It was pure at that time. It was from God. It was a divinity that inspired people and reframed their operational mindset towards God. Mm-hmm. Not because Mars, what is he the embodiment of? War and conquest, and Dionysus, wine and partying. It's all materialism. These gods represent materialism.
It's human nature, honestly. It's like human nature, essentially.
To create a religion, yes, it's human nature. Also, the Trinity was created by humans. The Trinity was created by a group of humans, implementing it into the book. I do want to say, while we're exiting out of the story of Constantinople, it can be extended to Justinian the First.
Yes.
Justinian, so Christianity is extremely developed by this time. Extremely developed. About 300 more years developed. Justinian understood that Christianity was confusing the population. The Trinity was confusing the population. The book itself, people couldn't understand. Okay, is Jesus the God? Is he the Father? Is he the Son? Is he the Holy Spirit? They didn't know if he was God or if he was the Son of God. It was confusing people. Didn't he do something like put like 1,000 priests into a room?
That was Constantine.
That was Constantine?
Yeah.
Justinian did something where he reformed the entire Trinity and he reformed the entire Bible into the Holy Roman version. And that's where now you're putting Roman manipulation into the Bible. Constantine did it first, but Justinian expanded on it. So I want to say, if you ever look at a Bible and you see Romans, understand that a Roman emperor is saying these words. A Roman emperor is putting his agenda into you in the version of a faith to convince you of his ideas.
Isn't there a book that's not included in the final verses?
Multiple.
Okay.
Dozens of them.
Like
Bible
Book
was
of
just-
Enoch or something?
Yeah, Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilee, the Philippians. The Bible, people don't understand, was not one book the way it is now. It was a very sporadic compilation and collection of different gospels. So what the Council of Nicaea did is actually the reason Constantine put it together is because Christianity was not a standard religion at that time. Different groups of Christians believed completely different things. Some thought of Jesus as a prophet. Some thought of him as just the Son of God, but not God himself. Some thought he was God himself. There was a bunch of confusion happening because Christianity throughout the Roman Empire, this large megastructure, had mixed with Neoplatonism, with Persian Zoroastrianism, with Roman polytheism. So, and there was a monotheistic aspect to it, so it diluted a lot. Constantine needed to recenter it, right? That's why dozens of books in the Bible were just scrapped. There's a gospel called the Gospel of Barnabas. The Gospel of Barnabas explicitly says that Jesus is just a prophet. Explicitly. Left out of the canonical Bible because Constantine's agenda was what?
Bro.
It was to synchronize Roman polytheism with Christian monotheism. That way he could get the polytheists in Rome to easily convert and the Christians in Rome to easily accept Roman culture.
Truly, it's a Roman religion.
It really
is.
It's
the Romans'
But
religion.
I want to go back to something here. Because we're talking about civilizational collapse. This gave them the fuel to push the empire for a couple...
Like what, 700 more years maybe?
I would say less because by the Like by the last 300 to 400 years, Rome was like Constantinople by itself. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So by the time the Muslims come, the message of Christianity had basically almost completely vanished in its original essence.
Yeah.
Which is why Muhammad ﷺ came as a light to revitalize all of civilization. Because by that time, the Romans, the Persians, who are also monotheists, technically, by
Zoroastrian.
right? Both followed perverted versions of monotheism. Muhammad ﷺ comes, think about this, when we think of civilization collapse, and Muhammad ﷺ comes to a group of essentially like nomads.
Backwater country.
Yeah, backwater.
What is it, Medina or Mecca?
It was in Mecca,
It
right?
was Mecca.
So
Mecca was a backwater country against two
it
major
wasn't even
empires.
a country. It wasn't even a country.
Collection of people.
It was tribes. It was tribes, right? It was an unstructured society, and the Prophet ﷺ comes, and through the message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to him, provides the light and the fuel for, in 23 years, it's a historical miracle, for a group of nomadic people who had no weapons and no battle strategy.
Underdeveloped.
To take over the two largest empires in the world.
That's like saying the township you live in goes against Russia and America, because it's like Islam at the time going against Zoroastrian Persians and then Christian Eastern Romans. So, which were the two superpowers in the region at that time.
SubhanAllah, I think both of you guys hit on so many subjects here regarding like civilizational collapse. It's like so beautiful. I think the one thing I do want to add here is I love hadith so much, and in particular hadith of the end days. Again, what I started saying was technology is the biggest driver in the 21st century, right? And it's got everybody on a high, essentially. And not just, a lot of times Muslims, we want to focus on the West, or we want to focus on Europa, right? Or like Europe or something like that. Anywhere but the Middle East. Because we think that the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah only applies to the kuffar, right? Or I'm Muslim, I say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah, I'll be fine. Type of thought process. This is wrong. One of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah is that this is so scary, that the Arab tribes will begin to build high structures and will compete amongst one another. Okay? Now, obviously, just taking away from the fact that how did the Prophet ﷺ know that there were going to be skyscrapers all the way back then, when the tallest building was literally just a story?
Yeah.
That mentioning of that, we see that right now. It's happening in our time. The world's tallest building, guess where it is?
UAE?
It's in Dubai,
Yeah.
right? The Arab have already started it. Now,
guess who wants to compete
world's
against
tallest building that is now back to being built, because they postponed it because of COVID and funding issues. It's being built in Jeddah, 1 kilometer tall. They're competing with one another. This is happening in our time. This is literal a sign of Yawm al-Qiyamah. And on top of that, it's happening in Saudi, the host of the two holiest sites in all of Islam, Mecca and Medina, right? By the way, the two cities that will be safe from the Dajjal, the Antichrist. Only those two cities. So, to me, it's very unnerving, literally living in a time where the signs of the day of the end of times is happening in front of our eyes. This is our warning, and I think this is a reflection to why that ayah didn't just shake you, my friend. It also shook me when you showed it to me, because we're living it. The end of civilization. Again, we're at a very high. We have AI. It's coming out. It's making our lives way easier, right? No doubt, okay? Especially for the channel. We have cars that can take us to and fro. Planes that can fly us to the other side of the world in less than a day.
It's not even like... It's about what AI is going to do. like the way it's developing,
how it's going to be utilized.
how it's the way, like the intentions with AI right now isn't really in our favor. Like it's just going to become a very powerful super weapon that we're not going to be able to control.
Potentially.
That's just the most logical thing to happen. Because
the reason why it's leading to that, though, and I agree with you, the reason why it's leading to this is because, again, I believe it's due to the infallibility of man looking inward to himself and becoming like essentially obsessed with everything that they've done and everything they've created, and forgetting who put them there and who got them there to begin with, which is a lost amount of time.
I don't think AI is negative.
No, not at all.
Well,
I don't
no
think it's
invention.
It's a tool.
No invention, like nuclear technology, is not negative, but a nuclear weapon is.
Well,
Right? AI is not negative, but an AI super weapon is.
With control.
Right?
so
A car is not evil, but a tank that fires bombs at you is.
Right? Yeah, it's all about your intentions.
Exactly.
yes. I do want to say though, because I don't know what you think about this, but I think truly us having nuclear weapons is a good thing because now we're not killing each other more as often.
We will. You see, like I want to stop there because nuclear weapons have been around for 80 years, and we think that this 80-year time period is indicative to say that we will never use them. It's been 80 years.
Okay, you shoot
All
your
you
weapons
need is one madman who doesn't care about you or anybody else but himself. That's what self-worship is. And that madman will burn down the world to rule over its ashes.
so stopping other countries from developing weapons.
It's just, he will be ready to use the weapon if he wants to, because it means that if he goes down, he takes everybody down with him. Israel has this. It's called the Samson option. The Samson option is if Israel is about to go down, it will destroy everybody with it. Think about that.
I understand this. Yeah.
Right?
Wow. I didn't know that. But
And they just deployed. The United States, for the first time since 2008, has just sent nukes to the United Kingdom,
yeah.
which is very scary. Escalation of things.
Well, have a good bunker. But even then, you're
I like that.
even then you're still gonna die. But all right, the only way I can see it is if you find a way to upload your consciousness into some kind of super AI chip.
We addressed this before. Your consciousness your soul cannot be transferred. You can't transfer your soul. It's not yours.
Our body's just a host.
Yeah, the soul is not yours. Only Allah can work with your soul. Only He can take it and move it and do whatever He wants. You can't project your soul into my body right now. It's just about the same.
I'm not gonna,
we addressed this in the AI part, right? Where we said that simply uploading a set of memories and personality into a computer doesn't mean that that computer becomes you. It's just the memories and the input and everything you've lived and experienced. But is that all a human is? We know it's not as Muslims, because we made a covenant with God before we were brought to this earth to recognize His lordship over us.
But I think Andrew brings up a good point, though. This idea, this obsession with immortality,
right?
That's literally fighting against Allah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
It's mentioned in the Qur'an, by the way.
Why do you think it's bad that humans want to live for 500 more years?
Well, it's not why is it bad, it's why do they want to live for 500 more years?
Maybe 100 years isn't enough.
Why?
Because it's not enough.
Why?
Because it's only 100 years.
Why though?
We could live for 500 more years, then keep building.
But build what? And for what?
I don't know. I don't know what's beyond us.
Right? So that's the point. This is something God addresses in the Qur'an. He says they want to live forever. But all they want to do is actually just push back the undeniable outcome, which is the judgment.
They can, die.
So ultimately, Andrew, let me ask you a question. It's a yes or no question. Would you upload your consciousness if you were given the opportunity to? And say that you could upload yourself and you could physically live out the rest of your days forever, for eternity. Would you do it?
I would do it in my technology, yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it in another human's technology that they built.
Okay. So, this world has an end, though.
Yes.
Isn't that kind of sad? Like in 8 billion years or so, or 10 billion years, the sun will just flare out. It'll die out. What'll happen then? And our known existence will suck in upon itself, and then everything is gone in the vacuum of space.
We use AI to come up with new technology.
To what?
To
Alter the universe?
To go to another planet.
Interdimensional.
And that
travel.
planet will eventually fade out.
Then we keep going. And then we keep going.
And the universe will eventually end.
Then I die.
So,
But that's the point.
Okay, all right, I'm not saying I mind dying, but I also don't mind living.
I get you. I get what you mean, because there's like, okay, so let's just say that you're an individual who wants to find the cure for cancer. You can't necessarily do it within a 100-year lifetime. So that would be great if you could do it within a 1,000-year lifetime. Like you could certainly, especially if you pass on the knowledge, right?
It's not negative to want to live for 800 more years, but you're gonna die. I understand this.
Right.
If we can find the technology to do it, by all means, I'm going to do it.
I'll give you a
don't think that
story.
we will.
When the Prophet ﷺ was on his deathbed, the angel of death visited him. The angel who takes the human souls.
Yes.
And he says, I have been sent by your Lord. But you are the only person who I have been asked to give an option to. Because the angel of death does not ask. He just takes.
Yeah.
When you die, it's your time, you're going to die.
Yes.
You can't delay it, right?
Yes.
So he asks the Prophet ﷺ, he says, do you want to continue living among your people and your ummah until the end of days? Or do you want to pass? And the Prophet ﷺ says, I choose my Lord.
Oh, wow.
I choose to be with my Lord.
Because it's way better to go live in that kind of energy.
So, any believer who believes in God knows that this world is actually a prison. Imagine that you make you're working out in prison every day, you're getting buff, you're eating 3 meals, you have a good group of friends to hang out with. Suddenly the warden comes to you and he says, Andrew, your sentence is up. You've served 20 years. Do you want to keep staying or do you want to leave?
Yes.
Even if you've had the best time of your life in prison,
You would want to leave. Yeah.
you would say, oh God, I'm ready to go. You know? You're going to build a kingdom in prison. You're going to be, I'm ready to go. Because that's just how the human soul works. It seeks freedom, and this world is an entrapment. It doesn't give you freedom.
We've lost that mindset. That's why we're leading to this civilizational collapse. We've lost the mindset, the hub for something again that we cannot see.
Yeah.
We can't see Jannah. We can't smell it. But I promise y'all the fragrance is 10 times better than on earth.
SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah.
And man, SubhanAllah, I was talking with my mom about this today actually. I would love the opportunity to be in the neighborhood in Jannatul Firdaus with all of us together, and right down the street I can wave to the Prophet ﷺ, and he can go, I could say Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah, and he can say Assalamu alaikum Abdul Rahman. Like imagine the Prophet whom quite literally he cried over us. And he called us his brothers.
Yeah.
Man, I want to go and see him. I want that feeling. And the unfortunate truth is that we have to struggle in this world and we have to prove ourselves worthy. And I don't think that I think that human beings continually try to just push away from that dream, and I don't want to push away from it. What's up?
Okay. You here on this earth, everything is energy based. Everything is energy based. The experiences you obtain, the feelings you get from those experiences, transfer into a kind of energy you accumulate. And over time you have experiences, you gain knowledge, you're introduced to more things, you're building more energy. You have maybe 6 years gone by, you're 60 years old, you have 60 years of energy built up, you're very smart. We were talking about this. There's different levels to Jannah. There's different levels to it. There's different levels to it?
Yes.
Each level after the other is reserved for somebody who is more of a spiritual person, who has more energy. So you spend your time, and let's say you do live for 500 years, because you found a way to do it. And throughout this 500-year experience, you just obtained 500 years worth of energy.
Well,
But with this process, you can go to the level of Jannah that is the most amount of energy.
so then you went back to intention. You went back to intention.
Back to?
Intention.
Yes.
intention is what purifies an act. Because in Islam, the one time you're allowed to ask for more life is to accumulate more good deeds.
Okay.
So you should never ask for death as a Muslim. This is you're not allowed to pray to die.
Yeah.
You should pray for more life if it's good for you, and pray to do more good in life. I think.
I think that's like a great place to go and end it. SubhanAllah. Thank you guys for another episode of Ummah in Exile. We really hope you guys liked it. Please like, subscribe, share this to all your friends. We need to go and get the voice of this podcast out there, Bismillah ta'ala. And until next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.